there is a policy that I would like to review for the future. It is our policy for purchasing and contracts. Currently, there is an exception that we have that any items that are 5,000 more have to be brought to the board. However, when I read our policy, it's not very clear. It's just specifically towards contracts. And so I think the perception of the board is a little different than an actual policy. So I feel like that particular policy needs to come back to the board. And you can look that up in your gamut in the board docs. And it's purchasing and contracts. I believe, I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but I can give it to you. And you probably know what I'm talking about. And I really think that that needs to be clarified because a lot of us were under the assumption that that read a certain way, and when you look at it, there's a lot of loopholes, and I would like to close up some of those loopholes. Okay? And then we are going to be bringing back the LCAP purchasing for an approval, because once again, that went along with this. And there's some discussion about when we pass the LCAP, anything that falls under that budget is just automatically approved and it doesn't have to come back to the board. I don't necessarily feel like, me personally, I think as a board we need to look at that and see how we'd like to go about either reviewing it quarterly or having those items come back to the board, because I don't think that was clear in the way the language is to exactly what our expectations are in that area.
I agree with you, and the only reason being is because in previous years we have carried over so much from the LCAP. So it'd be to be more transparent, to make sure that the funds for LCAP are being used for our students, because that's what the money is for.
So I think that's a discussion that we need to have on whether or not we want to bring back certain items or have a report quarterly, or however the board wants to do that. And I did ask Sandra to bring that back for the next board meeting. Okay?
I'd like to make a comment on that. It's like when we approve certain items on the LCAP, specific funds to be spent on that item, I would like to see to make sure that that money gets spent, not that it just sits there and then at the end of the year, oh, we have money left over. Because that money was supposed to have been spent on a specific program, and it needs to be spent, because if we don't spend it on those educational programs, how do we expect our children's test scores to go up?
So there seems to be a lot of interest in that, so that's definitely something we'll bring back. Yes.
And something that I'd like to bring back to you also for next meeting is furniture purchasing for our classrooms. Because of our Arroyo Seco Academy getting that new furniture that you approved, the standardization of that, we're working on a quote to bring that back for your board approval. Even though it's in the LCAP, I think it's good practice for you to come be able to see that we're approving those and trying to get as many grade levels, and we've been working with the principals to get as many grade levels as possible so that not just our new school gets the new furniture, but we're also making sure that all classrooms are getting new furniture within the next few years. And so trying to get as close to kids as possible with some of the impact with the LCAP funds. And so we will be bringing a large purchase order back to you for approval, hopefully next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, so with that, we'll move on to our closed session agenda. So the board will close to go to closed session to act upon the following item. Public employee performance evaluation, titles.